everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we're going to do the commentary / analysis for episode 26 of Miraculous Ladybug season 5, Recreation. I guess I was about to say it's the last time I'll say it, but I guess probably I get to say it again for action. But like, we all know like already, I think this is like fairly common knowledge that action's still gonna have Monarch in it. It's like set before the finale. Not even 100% sure if it is canon yet. Like, so it's not really gonna be quite the same thing. So yeah, Recreation. I'm about to spoil the whole episode for you, so if you haven't already seen it yet, please go and watch it before this video. And I don't think I have to say much about Bible spoilers or leak spoilers apparently, although according to my Discord DMs, there is still some things in the Bible that are unrevealed information about season 6. So if you know the information, I'd really be grateful if you didn't say a single thing about it. Thank you very much. So yeah, in this video I'm not going to be doing too much speculating about what happens. Afterwards I might mention a few things. I've already got like a little running list of theory videos I want to do bounced off from this episode. I think I want to watch it a few more times before I make my definitive list of ideas. So I'm mainly going to be focusing on this episode, but overall I really liked it. I give it an 8 out of 10. However, saying I really liked it, there's actually a few things I'm on the fence about, which we'll kind of get to, but kind of overall, yes, I liked a lot of what we were given, but also in some respects I do kind of feel a little unsatisfied in certain places, either just due to a lack of explanation about something, which is more towards the end of the episode, so it gets towards the end of the video, or like a lack of something altogether. For example, a lack of Adrian, and I don't think I'm going to be alone in saying there's a lack of Adrian. Also, sorry, my laptop sat beside me, it's currently uploading the episode 25 analysis, so you can watch it all afterwards. So, the first thing, I was like, no, Lila, you can't write. Where she is in the Catacombs is so far down that it's like inaccessible via normal routes, okay? And she cycles out of there. Unless they've taken this place in the Catacombs and put it somewhere else, that's where her lair is if you didn't know. Unless they've done that, she can't cycle out of there. You've got to climb and crawl out of the part of the Catacombs she's in. Okay, I went to the Catacombs when I was in Paris the other week, and in the legal part, which is a bit right below Paris, like the most immediate part, is like 120 steps down. You're not getting a bike down there, let alone cycling in and out. Like, no, but okay, that's just me being picky. So I know I usually do this all in order, but I just kind of want to group together all of the fighting between Marinette or Bugnoir and Monarch Daddy here together before they get down to the lair. And I really liked it. First of all, what they were saying to each other about like why they're doing this, about working out the other person's motivation, stuff like that, as well as using their powers. So obviously she had loads of lucky charms. Loved the bit where she dropped the piano on him, wonderful. Loads of cataclysms, and then he was also primarily using the bee, the ox, and the horse as well to fight her. I really loved how he was utilising it and how she was utilising her powers. Now she's got an infinite amount of them. Really liked it, and again I liked it with the rings. She gets the protection and she's like, where's Waze? What have you done to him? Really liked it, and I love the bit in the kit. Yeah, it was just, really liked it. And another thing I really liked was all the other heroes from the other specials. Since Bunnix was on the poster, I thought she was going to do a little bit more than what she did. Was literally like, what, she had 2 lines and that was it. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I was like, she's on that poster, I thought she was going to do something a bit more, but okay. But I loved the inclusion of Faye and Jess and Aeon. You'll see my reaction. I was going for it. I didn't cry, by the way. Didn't cry. I enjoyed it, but I didn't cry at any point. So, which makes it really bad, because when did you fall over? Because I think the only time I've cried this season was when Gabriel started singing in episode 11. Shows where my priorities lie. So a good job though, because I didn't ruin my makeup. Anyway, yeah, I was near screaming when Aeon came on. It wasn't me. You'll see, the reaction's going to be up next week. Loved it. Loved those bits. And the stuff with Jagged Stone and Penny and Suhan, like I said in my theory video, when was it? On Thursday, and I was like, it looks like from this trailer at the start, Luca's training to be part of the Guardians or whatever. What are Jagged and Penny doing? Are they just chilling nearby? I did not expect at all for them to join in. I mean, I don't know the criteria, like how would you sign up to be a guardian? No idea. They obviously fit it, were they just there at the time? I mean, I don't even know how Luke has started. No idea, no idea. Be interesting to do a 3 video on Luke, that'd be really cool to do, to what's gonna happen next, because at the end obviously he gets Miraculous permanently, but he's also, I would assume, still in training. I don't know how long they train for, but you know, like, just so many interesting things were brought up in this episode that I want to explore a little further, so I'm not going to talk about it here, but loved it. I loved the inclusion of Jagged and Penny, and of course Fang was there as well, because, you know, why the hell not? Let's train up Fang. And I really loved the resistance and how they were fighting, first get the rings off and save Ivan, then go around the city and do it more, and then they're kind of in trouble, but then the rest of the heroes arrive. We have the Luca and Julika reuniting, super duper cool. So back in the manor, Marinette just goes to Cataclysm and Gabriel. Thank God he had the ox on, but I was just like, you're gonna, like, he would have died, I would assume, if he hadn't had the ox. But so I was a bit like, that's a bit of a brutal decision. I understand, like, you're desperate, but I was like, calm down. Okay. However, one thing I absolutely loved, a bit morbid, there's a bit later on down in the murder basement where part of his finger crumbles off, and then also when they're in like the hall by the front door, he's like crouched on the ground, and I at first thought it was rubble like falling from the ceiling, because like the half destroying the house, like it falls out of his mouth, like of his lips, like he's decaying on the inside. Loved that. I know it's gross, but I like this kind of things. So I loved it. So that was great. So they get down to the basement, obviously they're carrying on fighting as they're going, and he's like, I want my wife back, and I was like, yep, already knew that. And he's like, and I also want Adrian and Kagami to have like this eternal legacy, to be eternal icons. And I was like, since when has that become part of your motivations? Like, I get, yeah, you want it, but I didn't realise it was that important to you. Like, I know he's been going on about it like most of the season, but I was like, since when did you care that much? Like, your son has a girlfriend, leave him alone. I didn't quite understand why he said that in that moment, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, okay, it's something you'd like, but like your motivation all along for doing this has been Emily. That thing with Kagami seems to really only manifested as something you fiercely want this season, which in terms of the timeline of Miraculous would have been the past couple of months, you know? So, not really sure what to think about that, really. I thought the montage was really good, showing all the kids what was going on with them, with like Faith falling out of the sky because she got venomed as a dragon, with all the different like what were they called, miraculizers surrounding them. That was, love the montage and how they were talking over it, great. And then he gets a boomerang. Where from? Where was that from? I mean, I like what Marinette did with it, with the glue, and she got like half of the rings. Super cool, but like, okay. Now this is moving on to a bit I'm a little bit unsure about, and how they basically redeemed Gabriel. Now in practice, I don't mind them redeeming Gabriel, but I'm just a bit like, I just have to disagree a little. Because after everything he's done, particularly this season, you know, if we compare Gabriel season 1 to season 5, Gabriel, don't get me wrong, wasn't very nice in season 1, but he's like a different man compared to now, pretty much. So I was a bit like, not really sure I agree with the decision, considering how abusive he has been towards Adrian this season, amongst other things. Even if he wasn't Monarch Daddy, he's still been an awful, awful parent, to the point where social services should have been called and he should have had his child taken away from him. You know, that's kind of like the levels they were really reaching at that point. So I was a bit like, huh? What? Why? What? Okay. Alright then. Like, just a bit strange. And kind of part of me thinks, up until the bit where she managed, like just right before she manages to knock the butterfly off him, kind of thinks Gabriel was intending to use her as a sacrifice. It's clear from what he was saying that you need one, and as what we see what happens, you do need a sacrifice in order to make your wish. You need a human sacrifice, which is really morbid for a kid show. But okay. So you need a human sacrifice, and it does kind of seem like he was intending to use her. Like, he was basically like, you know, Ladybug and Cat Noir annoy the hell out of me. When I defeat them and get the Miraculouses and it's time to make my wish, I'm gonna sacrifice one of them. And even like, he was shocked at first at the end of confirmation that it was her, but then he was like, oh, I should have known at the start of this episode. And he doesn't say it in so many words, but to me, I feel like from that point it was his intention to possibly use her as a sacrifice, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if it works that way and if the sacrifice has to be done by the person making the wish. It wasn't made abundantly clear, please tell me if you know otherwise. But I feel like that maybe was part of the plan. So then she knocks the butterfly off him and they try and come to some sort of compromise basically about what he's done and the consequences he'll face. And at that point he venoms her and takes the jewellery off her so he can make the wish. And I was just a little bit like, at what point, like, let's assume that, because I'm not sure what's actually the case, but let's assume you need a human sacrifice and it can either be the person making the wish or it can be someone else. You can bring someone else into like the protective bubble or whatever. At what point did he decide that it was going to be him and not Marinette? Was it when like she was showing him the videos of Emily and how Emily's like, oh, he's like, even though I'm going to be gone, he's still going to be surrounded by love, he's going to have you, he's going to have Natalie, he's going to have other family? Was that the moment he decides that in? Because I don't know, I just felt like it was too much, like too quick of a turnaround for him. I kind of, a little bit on the fence on it, because like it feel like it was pretty clear that he didn't like Marinette, and leading back to what I said before, how he's like, I want my wife back, I also want Adrian and Kagami to be like this eternal icon together. Surely it makes more sense, not that I'm saying he should have, but surely it makes more sense for him to have sacrificed Marinette, since she would still be around even if he wasn't. So I'm a little bit confused, like with Marinette around, Adrian's never going to break up with her, he's never going to go to Kagami. I mean, not that Kagami wants him anyway anymore, but you know what I mean? It was, yeah, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't like Marinette. I don't think he liked her really up until the end, at any point. So I'm just a little bit confused about it. Because why would he save her? Like, no offence, if I was Gabriel, I would have sacrificed Marinette. He doesn't like her. He wants his wife back. She was the only other person there. Like, what's the point of doing all of this when he can't even enjoy it, you know? So, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. The Kwamis seeing their human forms. We got like a little sneak peek in Dearest Family, if you'll remember when Tiki was eating too much food. They looked awesome, and then they combined together into Gimme. I'm not sure what the proper like English pronunciation would be yet, but yes, loved it and how that was explained. Like, if you have like, you want to make beans red, you got to make strawberries green in like balance. So I kind of liked how it was explained, but I was just like, could Gabriel line up a sacrifice, or does the wishmaker always have to sacrifice themselves? Wasn't really sure. So he makes the wish and it just kind of has like a happy ending. So like, don't get me wrong, it was cute, I liked it. They had the pool party, everyone was there, including Luca and Jagged, and Alex was back as well. I guess it's safe for her to come back now, but also in the same vein it's not, because Lila's got the Miraculous, and I'm pretty sure in, was it Multiplication? Like her dad rocks up to school and he's like, yeah, Alex has got the Rabbit Miraculous now. She's gonna be away because it's not safe for her, and Lila was in the class. So I'm like, obviously, yeah, I know you didn't know at that time, but why did you think it was sensible to tell everyone that? Why didn't you just say, yeah, Alex has transferred schools, she's on like a school exchange program to, I don't know, Greece? Why didn't you just say that? Why did you tell everyone? So I'm not actually sure if this means Alex is back for good, or she's just gonna make like cameos every now and then. Kind of. I'm not really sure, to be honest. And then Emily and Natalie. So Thomas already, I had a look on Twitter before filming this. So he, like, someone asked, was like, was that Emily or was it Emily? And he was like, well, that's the question. And then someone like posted screenshots of the script. In the script it says Adrian's mum. So it's like, okay, so it's Emily, not Emily. Unless they change their minds at last minute and it actually is Emily, but I don't see why it would be Emily, since Emily seems like she's back. So a little bit confused about that. And also just in general, don't get me wrong, I am over the moon that Natalie isn't dead. In my confirmation analysis I was like, is she dead? Is she unconscious? Is she on the verge of death? I was in denial. I'm glad she's alive, don't get me wrong. However, I don't get how she was able to be saved. I understand the swap of Gabriel and Emily, and yeah, I get that, and after having a discussion with a couple of my friends, we kind of think like the conditions of the wish, because of like, it's made obvious later on when Marinette's fixing the Miraculous in her room that everyone remembers what Monarch did. As the scientist from Rocketeer said, whose name I always forget, as you know, the one who made the dinosaurs. Like, I always forget her name, it's quite a long name. of what Monarch did. And with the statue of Gabriel, and what Marinette tells Adrian is that like Gabriel basically sacrificed himself in order to defeat Monarch. So obviously everyone remembers this, but also surely at that same time they'll remember that Emily wasn't there for this whole past year, like the events of Miraculous. So a little bit confused there. So I think we kind of established the like conditions of the wish is that Emily like basically like never, like the people's memories is that Emily never got ill, and that they have like fake memories of like this whole year as if she was there, and she possibly also has fake memories of also being there when she wasn't. I think that's the only way it's been really done. So I can understand why no one's questioning it, because I was watching it. I'm not sure if I said it out loud, but in my head I'm like, why is no one questioning why she's suddenly back? So that's the only way I can think of it, if Gabriel's like conditions of the wish were like make it so as if she doesn't just reappear, more so that like we've been together this whole time and then Monarch attacked and Gabriel sacrificed himself to save the rest of Paris, but Emily was like there all along. That's the only way I can kind of like rationalize it, and how no one's like questioning how she's just back. However, so whilst I can kind of understand that, I don't understand how Natalie can be saved. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy she's alive, but how? Because she was about to die too. So I don't have an explanation for it. If you understand, tell me, because I don't get it. Don't get it right now. So Miss Bustier being mayor, so glad she won. I had no doubt she would win. I love her plan for the city, but kind of for me it's just a little bit too nicey nice. Don't get me wrong, I love a happy ending, but it's just a bit like perfection ending rather than happy. There's a happy ending where it's like, yeah, we're gonna be okay, things are gonna be alright. Well, like one good thing happened and it's gonna influence all these other things and it's gonna be great, it's gonna be wonderful. But it's just like, Paris is basically perfect now. And I'm just a bit like, I'm not sure how I feel about it right now. Don't get me wrong, it looked cool. I loved all the different ideas with the environmental stuff and the things with the school. I think they were good ideas. But in terms of endings, I'm not sure it was quite satisfying. Was it cool? Yes. Was it satisfying? Not really sure. And I also really disagreed with the statue. I know Marinette agreed to do this for Adrian, but like, not so fond of the statue honouring him after everything he put her through as well. Because you gotta remember, like, not only has he put the whole city through it, he's put her through it as well, and she's gonna have these memories with her for the rest of her life, traumatizing her, you know? So I'm not so sure I really agree with it, to be honest. So yeah, and don't get me wrong, the kiss at the end between them was great, but I'm like, is she ever gonna tell him what happened? Because he deserves to know, which kind of brings me on to one of the reasons this episode was a bit like unsatisfactory for me, is that because Adrian wasn't there. And not only was he not there, there was just a severe lack of him, because he doesn't show up in this episode. The second main character doesn't show up until after the wish at the pool party. In like, I'd have to double check, but I think that's like within like the last 4 minutes of the episode. Second main character doesn't show up until the last 4 minutes of the episode. I could forgive it if the villain wasn't his dad and like the whole plot was like revolving around his family. I just feel like he should have been there, and I'm gonna probably make a theory video about this. I hope he's gonna find out next season, and I definitely feel it could be a big point of contention in his relationship with Marinette. But right now I'm a little bit, he should have been in it more. Even if he wasn't at the fight, because part of me definitely thinks they're saving him not knowing as being a big plot point, but also again, maybe they're just never going to do anything about it, because she still never told him about Cat Blanc, so maybe I'm just hoping for nothing at this point. Is she ever going to tell him that? Dunno! No idea. What about the identity reveal? No? No? Okay. We're just not doing it. Alright! Okay then. So part of me thinks that holding out for him to know next season, or maybe even the season after, as like a massive argument between them, character, relationship development of theirs. But like at the same time I'm also like, I feel like he should have been more involved. I can forgive him for not being at the fight, and I can forgive him for not being part of Gabriel's downfall. However, right now what I can't forgive is Adrian not getting to say more to his abusive father and confront him. I know he did kind of get to confront him in representation, but I do feel if he'd been given more of a chance in this episode to say it to his face whilst Gabriel knew he was Adrian, would have been a lot more satisfying in my opinion. So whilst I can understand why he wasn't at the fight and didn't find out everything, because I think they're going to use it later on in next season, part of me also wishes he was there, and if he wasn't going to be there, I definitely think he needed to be doing something else. What that something else could be, I don't know. It also raises the question of Felix. Why wasn't Felix doing something? Like, surely he knew at that point he couldn't contact Kagami, so why wasn't he trying to find out where they were, trying to free them or whatever? I understand that would have made it more rushed, and honestly I was actually pretty happy with the overall pace of this episode and the last one. I was really worried because I was like, they've got a lot to fit in, how rushed is this going to be? But it ended up being done really well with the pace. I didn't feel like it was rushing. If anything, I thought this episode was a tad bit too slow. But no, they had both good paces to it. So obviously that would have sped it up a little bit, and I'm not sure they would have had time for it, but I was like, so what was like the point of Felix this season really? It's basically my question. It's not really for this video to explore, but I'm a bit like about it basically. However, I loved the ending where Marinette puts together like a Miraculous. I'm assuming she like works out how to reconfigure them to what they look like before, since everyone seems to be wearing the old ones because they all get the Miraculous on their own. I absolutely love the idea where they get to look after their Kwamis. I want to do like little videos of like how like what Julika's life with Raw would be, Rose with Daisy, Alia with Trix, etc, etc. I can't wait. It looked awesome. I love a good team. I did kind of like, I was starting to miss, it was like part of me when season 5 started, I was like, yeah, I kind of miss like the Lady Noir dynamic of them together, but then after like a few episodes I was like, I'm kind of missing the others. So now I kind of hope this next season's going to be like a healthy dose, or we have some Lady Noir episodes and then some episodes where we have the other heroes, because I think it could be really easily oversaturated if the other heroes are in every single episode, you know what I mean? So I think like a good mix between them will be really good. And then of course the episode ends with Lila. I swear to God, so I'm assuming she's going to attend their new school next year. If she walks in, like I know she's going to have a different appearance, but if she walks in and not a single one of them recognises her, I will not be held responsible for my actions. Okay? I will not be. Will not be. I'd also love to see, maybe they're saving this for next season, as maybe the opening, to see how she gets the Miraculous. I would like to see it. I'm assuming she brought a swimming costume with her, because how else would she have got it? I don't know. Also that water. What was that about? Okay, it was like green. Don't know, I don't know. And then of course it ends on a cliffhanger with, I'm gonna say lightning. Right now, zero ideas. Zero. None. The only thing I can think of is the Into the Reverse stuff. That's the only idea I currently have right now. But I don't actually know. So yeah, that's basically all of it chronologically, but I just want to discuss a couple of other things. So yeah, like I said before, I do feel like Adrian was missing from this episode, and when I say missing, I don't just mean a bit, I mean like chronically missing. Like I said, I can understand them not wanting him to find out in this episode so they can use it as a plot point later on if Marinette lets it slip or decides it's time to tell him, however it comes out, and see the strain in their relationship, because to be honest, if anyone hid this from me, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, mum, otherwise, I wouldn't be very happy with them. I think most people wouldn't be. I don't think that's just me feeling that. I don't think most people would be very happy with them. So part of me does feel they're saving it for later, but if that was the case, I really truly do feel like he should have been doing something else instead. What that something else could have been, because he was trapped in the cell, I really don't know, but I do feel like we were chronically missing both him and actually Felix, with how he's like been hyped up to be so important, and he was so important at the end of last season, and he didn't appear until the pool party either. So I was just a bit like, okay. And the other thing I really disagree with is, first of all, the wish being made, because Gabriel technically wins. Like this whole time they've been trying to stop him. and he wins. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a, you know, a bad win. He didn't destroy the world. He basically did make it into a better place. But in kind of a similar vein, I'm really not sure I agree with his redemption arc. And one of my friends, my head moderator, Edward on Discord, we were having a little text after I finished watching the episodes, and he put this much better than the way I would phrase it, so I'm just going to read what he messaged me. It's not even a redemption, it's a bunch of people lying. He's not a hero, and he never was. And even if they tried to give him a very last minute change of heart, that would be something, but no, he died still executing his evil plan. He died being evil. He didn't show a hint of goodness, agree. He won as the bad guy, and Marinette is only claiming he was good in order to protect Adrian, but it's not protecting him to making him live a lie. And now everyone's living a lie as well. Like, it's better he confronts the reality that horrible things happen sometimes and he learns a way to move past it. Isn't that a better lesson for kids to learn? And I really have to agree. Like, apart from the only parts of the episode where I felt Gabriel was having a change of heart was right before he took the earrings, where they're having that chat before Marinette de-transforms. Then when he's really crying when he sees the videos of Emily, and when he's making the wish and he says to Gimme, like, you can see my heart, you can see my soul, or whatever. Those are the only points I actually felt like he was a good person. Like, probably the only points I felt like he was a good person all season, I'll be brutally honest with you. Like, I'm just not sure it was the right move. What the move would have been instead, I don't know, because yeah, it would have left Adrian alone, but part of me thinks that would have been better. And for maybe Amelie and Felix to move to Paris and look after him. I don't know, I have a few mixed feelings about it, but like, in my opinion, we were told like this whole time, and when I say this whole time I mean since the start of the show, that he cannot make the wish. That's the point of the show. And he does it anyway, and he still technically wins. So, whilst, don't get me wrong, it was cool to see Adrian and everyone happy, and it was cool to see Emily back, I'm excited to see what kind of mum she's going to be like. And whilst it was kind of cool for a children's show to take a different direction instead of, like, because in a way the good guys did win, but also at the same way the bad guys also won. It's kind of both at the same time. So whilst I do think it's interesting, I also do think it's very strange, and I can't quite make my mind up if I liked it or I didn't. So don't get me wrong, overall there's a lot of things I liked about this episode. I liked seeing the Kwame's other forms, I loved the New York and Shanghai special characters back in this. Luca and Jagged and Penny were great. The fighting I think was done wonderfully, but it has made me kind of confused. So I did like it, but I am just a little confused on certain things, either because they weren't explained very well, like with Natalie. I'm glad she's not dead, but like, what? How is it possible? I don't quite get it. Like, I didn't think he could save more than one person really. And like, two, if I actually liked the fact that the wish was done, because I'm really not sure. Really not sure. Anyway, overall 8 out of 10. I did enjoy it as I was watching it, even though I was kind of confused and had questions. I was like, yeah, this is cool, I like it. MVP though, I guess the MVP has to go to Gabriel Babes, Daddy Agrest, Hawk Daddy, Scarlet Daddy, Shadow Daddy, Monarch Daddy. May he now truly rest in peace. So yeah, that's the end of the season, besties. I hope you all enjoyed it. I didn't like it as much as season 4, but we'll do a whole video discussing that. I've got loads of other content planned. Next week will be the reaction videos, and I think on the weekend we'll probably have a live stream therapy session. I will post times and stuff when I've discussed with my mods what's best for them. I'll post that on a community post, so be on the lookout for that. Hopefully it'll be like next Saturday. But yeah, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure to experience the season with you all. It's probably a little bit dramatic to say, but it's 100% true, so I'm gonna say it anyway, that my life definitely changed for the better. Don't wanna cry. Changed for the better when I made the decision to make just videos about Miraculous. Don't get me wrong, it can be stressful sometimes. Like this week on Tuesday and Wednesday I made like 8 videos in the space of 48 hours and I was very, very tired. But I always look back and reflect and think it's worth it, and it definitely was worth it, like getting to inform you, like being one of the first to inform you of all the news because of how quick I often am with making videos, and getting to see you all laugh at like the silly little jokes I make in the episodes. And this like it's been like over a whole year now since Evolution first aired. This whole year has been absolutely insane. I got to do 2 video collaborations with Cartoon Apocalypse, which is just absolutely insane that I'm like friends with him. Like I got to murder him the other night on Among Us. Like if you told Hayes 3 years ago she'd be getting to do that, she wouldn't have believed you. I've also become friends with Miraculously Lazy. I've been on the Miraculous Besties podcast sometimes. I got to meet some of you in person at the premiere in Paris. I got to see the movie. I got to speak to Jeremy Zag. It was just, this year has been an absolute, it's been so insane. I just want to say thank you so much. I'm not going to stop making videos. I've got a lot of video ideas, but not this week, the week after. I do have a little video that's basically like a little announcements about the future of the channel, because there is a bigger gap between this season and the next. So yeah. Thank you once again. I was about to say I'll miss you all, but I'm not stopping making videos, but I think what I'm going to miss is that obviously there's not going to be really any spoilers. Like I know Action's coming out and Into the Reverse, there'll be spoilers and stuff for that, but it just never feels the same when the season isn't on. Like sitting down, like for example this morning, it was my last morning, you know, running around the house, getting ready, doing my makeup, making sure my camera was charged, making sure my video editor's working normally and stuff, because I gotta get like this video out for this afternoon and stuff. So I'm still gonna be making videos, but it's never the same when the season's not on, and it's gonna be a while until the next one. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss it for a little bit, but we'll be okay. We have each other to scream into the void about Miraculous Ladybug. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you all enjoyed the season. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much for being with me this season. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. You are the nicest community I possibly could have ever have asked for, and I don't want to cry anymore. So I think we're just gonna end the video here. So I'd love to know what you thought of this episode, besties. If you're gonna write me a little essay, that's fine, but could you please put some paragraphs in it so it's easier for me to read? And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!